Many of these single-player games can become repetitive due to the sheer saturation of the category in the gaming industry. There are loads of single-player adventure games, action games, shooters, etc., and many offer similar overall experiences. This can make it difficult to handpick a game that offers a unique campaign that stands out from the rest, either through its story, gameplay mechanics, graphics, art style, features, genre, etc. Because it's my job to make your life as a gamer easier, I have done the research and selected 5 of the best single-player campaign games on PlayStation 5. In each review, I will mention the factor that makes each game unique. Let's go. Number 1. Hitman 3. The Hitman series needs no introduction. The franchise has really taken off, and its main character, genetically engineered Agent 47, has become a household name among gamers since the launch of Hitman, codenamed 47 in 2000. Now, Agent 47 returns in Hitman 3 with a new mission. The game was developed and published by IO Interactive in January 2021, and it is the 8th main installment of the Hitman series and the 3rd and final entry in the World of Assassination trilogy. The game is played from a third-person perspective, which gives you a broader view of Agent 47's moves as he interacts with the environment and brings enemies down while staying out of sight. In the single-player story, 47 works with allies to hunt down the leaders of Providence, a secret organization that was heavily involved in the creation and upbringing of 47 and his peers. If your search for the best campaign game on £5 is leaning towards stealth games, then Hitman 3 is one of the top options out there. Number 2. Lost Judgment. Lost Judgment is the sequel to 2018's Judgment. Both games are action-adventure titles that serve as spin-offs of the Yakuza series. Lost Judgment was developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studio and published by Sega in 2021, and the game runs in 4K with 60 FPS on the 9th Gen £5 console. It looks great, and the gameplay feels really smooth as well. The campaign mode in Lost Judgment follows a private detective named Takayuki Agami, and this is where the uniqueness of the game shines through. Although it is an action-adventure at its core, it also features strong elements of a detective game as you try to piece clues together to investigate and solve the case that has been assigned to you. The said case is that of sexual harassment and murder, and you will find yourself running across the streets of Kamurocho and Isazaki Jincho as you question and fight your way through witnesses to bring your mission to a close. Number 3. Resident Evil Village. Like Hitman, the Resident Evil franchise is another one that has built a huge reputation in the gaming industry, since the first title was released in 1996. At the time, the game was created by Shinji Mikami and Tokuro Fujiwara, and it pretty much carved out the survival horror genre while bringing zombies back into the mainstream gaming world. 25 years on, Resident Evil Village was released, and the carved-out niche remains the key selling point that makes the game a unique feature in this guide to the best single-player games on PlayStation 5. The game was developed and published by Capcom, and it serves as the sequel to Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. The story mode follows Ethan Winter's adventure as he searches for his kidnapped daughter in a village filled with zombie-like mutant creatures. It is a double misfortune for Ethan, as these events follow the murder of his wife, Mia, just when he thought things were going back to normal once again. Number 4. Elden Ring. From Software is popular for its work in developing the Souls games. Titles such as Demon's Souls, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and Elden Ring all have a similar concept of action role-playing with high levels of difficulty, and the stories are usually set in a dark fantasy world. On that note, Elden Ring is my entry for the subgenre when considering the best single-player games on PlayStation 5. The game was published in early 2022 for 8th and 9th Gen consoles, with the combined effort of From Software and Bandai Namco Entertainment. The famous Game of Thrones writer, George R.R. Martin, contributed written material for the game's dark fantasy setting, so you can imagine how rich and compelling the story is. Despite the resounding success of From Software's other Souls-like games, Elden Ring is the crown prince of the developer's achievement in many ways. The open-world design here is the best in all their games so far based on scale and scope, and it allows for the best form of exploration that we've seen from the studio so far. Combat is engaging, and the bosses can be pretty difficult. However, the satisfaction of finally bringing one down is unmatched. Number 5. Horizon Forbidden West. Ratchet & Clank. Rift Apart is a gorgeous game by any standard, but in my opinion, Horizon Forbidden West was the best-looking game on the £5 when it was released. If you're looking for a single-player experience where you get to explore a vast environment, rendered in stunning detail and rich color, then this is a game that I can easily recommend. Forbidden West is a sequel to 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn, which was also a really good-looking game. However, the sequel can stand on its own with its campaign mode, with no knowledge of the previous iteration. The main character of the story is Aloy, a huntress that grew up as an outcast of her own tribe. She journeys across a post-apocalyptic version of the western United States to complete quests while faced with enemy machine creatures. That I like to play in Forbidden West is to see if I can recognize famous landmarks recreated in the game. It can be tricky at times because these buildings are rendered in dilapidated condition to reflect the post-apocalyptic effect, but it's a fun little game anyway. These are the top 5 single-player games in PlayStation 5 that you must try. See you in the next video.
E aí, extinção.